great content. I work in government risk and compliance, GRC, but I don't have enough experience with RMF. And all the jobs that are out there want me to be able to choose a framework from scratch, want to be able to have chosen framework from scratch, selected security controls, applied security controls, write an SSP, experience with ProAMs. Do you have anything or advice on how to move through all that from the very beginning to the end, like a case study example, not a high level overview of risk management framework or book study stuff? I need to be able to move from no framework to maintenance mode with some kind of example. The closest thing that I've come to this is my own course. My course is talking about a practical guide for documentation for security control. Not only how to interpret them, but how to document them. First of all, I'll tell you what's the premise. What's this all about? What is the context of the documentation? Because you got to understand the why. Why do you need to do documentation? Then I go into the overview, what is a system security plan? How do you actually implement stuff into a system security plan? I'll talk about implementation statements, which nobody talks about. Plan of action milestone. You can see those every here and there. But then I go into okay, if you had AC controls, first of all, let's interpret it. Then, okay, how do you do a policy for it? I give you examples that are downloadable, and I walk you through what is in them, what things you should see as an information system security officer in every policy. And if you don't see it, you should be well, hey, we don't have a scope in this policy, right? That's one of the things you should see in there. Then I go through how do you write the controls for AC1? How do you write that into a policy? How does that appear in a system security plan? How would we put this into a plan of action and milestone? And then interpretation of AC1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's pretty in depth. That's why it's taking me so long to get through all the families. By the time you get through 2 or 3 of these, you get it. The reason why I started doing it is because I had to figure this stuff out myself. I'm self-taught. I did it for the government. I did it for contracting civilian agencies. I did it as a contracting ISO, as a government ISO when I was in the military. That's exactly what I did when it was still called DITSCAP and DIACAP and Rainbow Series. I've been doing this for a long time. There's nothing out there. I would have questions myself, how do you do this? And then I would go out and learn it on my own by reading the actual federal guidance. And then I'm man, why don't anybody talk about this? Then I would just paraphrase it, put it in words that people can understand, and then relate it back to the actual government laws and the policy that you need to have. It's been effective. People keep telling me man, I get it now. I just didn't see practical examples. One book that I've had to go through because I took the CAP and I have the CAP certification. There's this certification called IC2 CAP. And IC2 CAP focuses on information system security officer work. Does cover the domains on the certification. I don't know if the second edition covers the recent changes, but it's better than nothing. But it doesn't tell you how to be an ISO. That's what people really want to know. And so that's the kind of stuff that I talk about. So my course, if you're interested, this free stuff, sign up is for free. Convocourses.com. And there's downloadables for free. Check out the downloadables. If you don't like my teaching style, if it's not enough, don't buy it. If you purchased it and you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. Yeah, I've got other courses here. This is what you'll see when you go to convocourses.com. There's already 20 hours worth of content right here alone.